Yo, what is up? Rowdy HQ here, finally back with I think it's been a month, week 8 NFL predictions. Yeah, I got sidetracked a bit. I got school going on and stuff. So, yeah, let's just get straight into it. I'll try to keep it shorter this time. So, when I was going to write, by the way, when I was going to write through these the schedule, I got some of the games mixed up. So, I'm gonna try to keep it for like I'm gonna say all the 12 o'clock games, and then like the 3 o'clock games, and then the primetime games, but if they're, like, out of order, how it lists them on Google, then, you know. Okay, so, first game, Ravens at Bucks. I have the Bucks winning this one 24-20. I think that this is gonna be a get right game for the Bucks. That team's a disaster. I mean, I had them as my Super Bowl prediction going into the season. They're my Super Bowl favorite, but, now yeah, that team just looks shot. Tom Brady isn't playing bad, but I just don't think he's there, and I think the team's feeling it. I think the team is just distant. Like there's no fire, and even Todd Bowles said this earlier about how there's like a Super Bowl hangover. I'm paraphrasing, but he says something along those lines. But I still think they win this game because I still think the offense is talented, and I think the Ravens are meh. I mean, they're good, but their defense is their secondary especially has been underperforming, and I don't think Mike Evans is going to drop another touchdown pass. Yeah, I think Brady will probably be the impact player, but yeah, this is not pretty if it's a Bucks fan. This team is heading towards rebuild after this season because I Brady's not coming back. I wouldn't blame him if he retired now, but let me talk about the Ravens. Like Lamar Jackson has not been playing well. I mean, he's been playing okay, but he's not been playing like an MVP the past few weeks. And I don't want to speculate, but I'm wondering if the money or the contract is influencing his play because they haven't paid him. That's obvious. So I don't know if it's whether they think Lamar is asking for too much money or if they don't think he's worth however much he wants. They'll probably franchise tag him, so I think he'll be a Raven next year. But I don't know. Like they need to get the contract done before the CBA or whatever the next TV deal explodes because you can't have him as like a 60 million cap hit. It might be that in the future, the near future, but yeah, they need to get him more weapons too. I mean, that one game where he had like back to back turnovers. I mean, he kind of cost them, even though it's a team game. But yeah, there's pieces they need to fill in, but they need to get him some more weapons, or they just got to figure something out because there's too many games that they've blown. I don't think they're gonna win against the Bucks, but that doesn't mean that they're not gonna make the playoffs. Let me move on to the next pick, but I have the Bucks 24, Ravens 20. Next game, Bears at Cowboys. I have the Cowboys winning 21 of the Bears 10. I will say that the Bears offensive performance against the Patriots was the best all season that they've had that I at least I saw. And I'm scared as a Cowboys fan because what the Bears are really good at is what the Cowboys defense is not good at, and that's stopping the run. But I still think the Cowboys will win pretty comfortably just because I just think they're better, to be honest. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a slugfest where I mean, even the Bears could win, to be honest, if the Cowboys just offense doesn't play good. But yeah, but if the Cowboys offense comes out and like hangs some points on them early, I think then the Bears are probably not going to do anything because the pass game is meh. The O line is good at run blocking, but they give up a lot of sacks. And but I will give Justin Herbert credit. He did make some good throws against the Patriots, but still, I think the Cowboys are too good, or their defense has too much talent on it. But and the Bears got rid of Robert Quinn too. I know he hadn't done that much this season, but I mean, he's still a pass rusher, so you're losing somebody. And this Cowboys offense though, like there was too many plays against the Lions where you just got to question what Kellen Moore is thinking. Like I get he's young and I think he has good ideas, but there was like multiple third and ones where you're just wondering like why is Tony Pollard or Zeke running it to the outside when it's 3rd and 1. You have Zach Martin, who's one of the best guards ever. Terrence Steele's a really good run blocker. He's a better run blocker than pass blocker. So I don't know why you're not running behind them. I feel like whenever there's like a big Tony Pollard play, it's because they just run it behind those two guys. And then there was like another one where Terrence Steele got beat on a spin move, and it was like a 3rd and 1, and then Aiden Hutchinson just pushed Dak over, and I'm like, the Cowboys offense makes it too hard on themselves. Sometimes it's just dumb play calling. Like if it's 3rd and 1, you have Zeke. I don't know if he's going to play this week, which concerns me, but if it's 3rd and 1, like QB sneak it or do some like play action bootleg to the tight end. So I just don't get it. But yeah, Cowboys 21, Bears 10. One more point, because I'm a Cowboys fan. I've heard someone say that they want to get away from this, but I feel like the Cowboys have the most success when they have at least 2 tight ends or they're running 12-man personnel, because I really don't get it, but it just always feels like whenever it's 12-man personnel, it's not even like the running game is better, because it is, but it's like the passing game is better too. Dalton Schultz is good. They're probably not going to bring him back, but Dalton Schultz is good. Jake Ferguson looks, good for a rookie. Peyton Hendershot got a touchdown. So it's just weird. Like I honestly wouldn't blame this team if they went and paid Dalton Schultz and like banked on Ferguson being another starter, because I don't know if CeeDee Lamb is like, CeeDee Lamb to me is not a number one. I'll explain this and then I'll move on. My number one criteria is way stricter than like I think like most of the general NFL fan base. Number one for me, you have to make an all-pro team. Like the Pro Bowl, like 1,000-yard guys, 1,100-yard guys. That to me is like not a number one. Like DJ Moore is good, but he's not a number one. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams. Those are number ones. There's only like 4 or 5 number ones for me in the league. I'm not saying CeeDee's bad, but this team needs another receiver, regardless. Michael Gallup looks shaky, but he might get better. I don't know. I mean, he's coming off an ACL tear, but he looks shaky. His contract set up so if he like doesn't look good in the future, they can get off of him next year. But yeah, this Cowboys offense is not pretty, but the defense is good, so I have them winning 21, Bears 10. Sorry, that took way too long. Steelers at Eagles for the next one. I have the Eagles 28, Steelers 17. The Eagles, if they're not the best team in the NFL, they're the most complete. I mean, you look at that whole roster, it's just good across the board, and I'm not going to keep harping on it, but you pay money for premium guys and you get good. It's true. You traded for AJ Brown. If you took like a rookie receiver, he wasn't going to be as good as AJ Brown. So for me, that trade's like a no-brainer. I don't know why the Titans didn't sign him. Good running backs. Your quarterback's playing at a Pro Bowl to MVP level. Good O-line. I mean, really, the team is just they're the most complete team in the NFL. Steelers perspective, they do look like they have more life with Kenny Pickett, but man, he is making a lot of mistakes. And that's the thing. This Eagles defense preys on mistakes. They're really good at capitalizing on these. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Pickett continues the turnover train. No offense, but I mean, I think he'll be good, but yeah, Eagles 28, Steelers 17. The Steelers offense needs help, and this is not a good defense this is not a defense you want a rookie to face. Yeah, not too much to say, and plus the Steelers can't really get a run game going, so I don't know if they can really exploit the Eagles that way. Like Najee Harris has been, I mean, the O-line is bad, but Najee Harris has been meh. He needs to be better. Decent receivers. George Pickens looked good. I'm surprised he didn't get drafted earlier, but I don't think this game is going to be that close. It could be because the Steelers are scrappy, but still, I have the Eagles winning by 11. Patriots at Jets. I think this could go either way. I think the Patriots will bounce back, but I have the Jets winning 17 and the Patriots 14. I think this will be an ugly game because I think both teams are more defensive oriented right now. The Patriots are in QB limbo because Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi are like, okay, they got to work something out. between those two. I don't know. Like they both look pretty similar. So you don't want to get into a quarterback carousel where you're just rotating them out in and out. But the Jets, like they've drafted so well, but losing Brees Hall, that's a big blow. They got James Robinson, which is was a really good trade for me, but I don't know if he's going to be as good as Brees Hall was. Um, I still haven't winning 17-14, but it could go either way. And I remember someone on TV, I forgot who it was who brought this up, but at a certain point, I feel like if the Jets want to be like legit playoff contenders, like I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders yet, but if they want to be legit playoff contenders, they Zach, my bad, Zach Wilson has to make more plays. Like someone said that they're kind of babying him, or they're like they have him on a leash, or they've reined him in, and I kind of agree to a certain point. Like Garrett Wilson was honestly like looking like a rookie of the year favorite with Joe Flacco. Like I picked him up in fantasy because I was like, man, this guy's like averaging like a touchdown and a bunch of catches a game. And then with Zach Wilson, it like fell off a cliff, like steep off a cliff. And then you have Elijah Moore asking to get traded for the targets. I mean, you don't want that, but I mean, it's kind of true. Like at a certain point, this team is going to get like points put on them. And then you're going to have the offense throw it. And if you don't trust Zach Wilson, I mean, obviously that's not a good thing. So at a certain point, I mean, Robert Saleh's a defensive coach, but if you want to be legit, you got to work out a way that Zach Wilson is getting these premium picks on offense catches or targets, because you spent the 10th overall pick on Wilson, early second on Elijah Moore, and like you got to be using them because they're too good not to get targeted. So they're gonna have to fix that, but I still have them winning this game. Broncos at Jags. I think this is the London game, of course. The annual Jags go to London, trying to get fans a game, but sorry, but I have the Jags 21 of the Broncos 14. Yeah, the Broncos are a mess. There's just no other way around it. I mean, I'd be concerned because Russell Wilson has looked bad. You better pray or whatever that it's an injury related to his poor play. But the Broncos are getting hammered with injuries too. The Jags have kind of skid a little bit. They started off hot, but I think they're kind of coming back down to reality. It's a decent team, but it's not an elite team by any means. I saw them winning 21-14 because I just think that their offense is better. Like Travis Etienne stepped up big. Christian Kirk's good. Trevor Lawrence has been inconsistent, but he's good. Broncos, like I said, injured. The Broncos honestly might need to be looking to just blowing it up. I mean, you don't have a first or a second, I think, which is like terrible for a team that doesn't have picks, or a team that went all in and is bad. But if you can get like a second and a third for Bradley Chubb, like the Von Miller deal, you might need to go make that trade. Same thing with Jerry Jeudy. Like he's been a disappointment. It's year 3 at this point. He should be better. If you could get like a second, like if I'm the Cowboys, I'd trade a second for Jerry Jeudy at this point. Like if I could get a second or like a third and a fourth for Jeudy, or maybe you're not going to get a first for him, but yeah, if you could get like a day 2 pick for Jeudy, I'd probably make that trade at this point. Or, I mean, you don't have to trade him, but this team needs to get more assets. You'll get Tim Patrick back next year. Like, I don't think the receiving core is as bad, but this team needs to go into a mini rebuild like this year. That sounds crazy to say because everyone at the beginning of the season, including me, had them as like a Super Bowl favorite in that bubble. But yeah, it's not pretty for the Broncos. Their defense is good, but that's the thing. Like if you get assets for the next draft and you shed some cap, you could get some offensive pieces like another receiver, a tight end. Because I mean, I don't know what you're getting there. Another running back. This team needs offensive help straight up, but. Yeah, I have them losing 14-21 to the Jags. The Jags need help too, but I don't know. This is probably not going to be a pretty game. Dolphins at Lions. I have the Dolphins 24, Lions 20. The Dolphins offense hasn't been as explosive, but I think that's part because, Tua got injured. I'm gonna give the Lions defense credit, even though I thought the Cowboys shot themselves in the foot a lot. The Lions defense clearly did something over the bye week because they looked a lot better. I mean, the Cowboys offense isn't that good, but I mean, Jeff Okudah was coming up and making tackles. They were flying to the ball. Aiden Hutchinson deserves a lot of credit because he was getting ragged on early because he hadn't been that good. He had like a 3-sack game, but outside of that, he hadn't done anything. But the moves he showed against Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele, I liked. That spin move was gross. He showed his speed against Tyler Smith. Yeah, Tyler Smith, by the way, he struggled with speed in recent weeks, but that's for another time. Don't want it's not a Cowboys game. So maybe Aiden Hutchinson's turned a corner. Yeah, Jared Goff's not the answer. We know that. They have the first overall pick, so I know this team wants to win, but it might honestly be in their best interest just to tank because if I could get Bryce Young, I'd be happy. What else? Oh, I don't know when Jameson Williams is coming back or DJ Chark. DJ Chark might be like a lost cause. You might not bring him back, but they're gonna get Jameson Williams. It's another reason to draft Bryce Young. They had a good connection. This offense is still good. They're missing some players, but I just think the Dolphins are just better offensively, or about equal offensively, and then they're better defensively. So yeah, I have the Dolphins winning 24-20. I just think the Lions are going to struggle at the end to keep up with the Dolphins' speed. But this could go either way because I wouldn't count the Lions out of any game because if you like go in thinking you're going to beat them, that's the type of team that's going to beat you. Yeah, but still, Dolphins 24, Lions 20. The next game, Panthers at Falcons. Credit to the upset of the week with the Panthers beating the Bucks. I mean, that's just bad if you're a Bucks fan. Maybe like losing Matt Rule and then trading Christian McCaffrey just gave this team the juice because PJ Walker looked good. They just need to ride PJ Walker out the rest of the season. DJ Moore finally, thank God for my fantasy team. He finally did something. I don't think they're going to trade any notable players. I mean, they didn't need to trade DJ Moore. He looked good. He looked like the past few years DJ Moore. The running game looked really good without Christian McCaffrey. Chuba Hubbard and that Foreman guy, they looked good. You got your other receivers involved with Trimble and the Terrace Marshall. That's the thing. The offense just looked more. It looked like it had more life. It just looked more energetic. It looked more physical. You had a better quarterback playing. That was probably the number one reason. And the Panthers' defense is good. Like I don't think that the Panthers' future outlook is as bad as I initially thought at the beginning of the season. I thought it was going to be a dumpster fire, but if you get a choice of a top quarterback in the next draft, it's an appealing coaching spot. But I just think that the Falcons are slightly better. Like AJ Terrell struggled, and the defense as a whole is but they have good receiving weapons. Marcus Mariota surprised me. He's looked good. I mean, he's not the future, but for like a bridge quarterback, he's looked good. Still, I think they'll draft a quarterback in the next two drafts. But yeah, the running game looked really. I mean, it looks really good even without Cordell Patterson. They've gotten good production from like that Tyler Algier, I think. I just think they're a slightly better team, but honestly, I think this game could go either way. I could see the Panthers easily winning this, but I have Falcons 21, Panthers 20. Cardinals at Vikings. This is gonna be an upset. I'm kind of like I don't know why, but I just like the Cardinals. Maybe it's those new all black jerseys are sick. But I have the Cardinals 24, Vikings 20. And I don't want to be a hater, but I just think the Vikings schedule, record might be a little deceiving. Like I feel like they do this every year where they like look good and then they hit a stretch where like, okay, they're just playing bad teams. They play in a bad division. But yeah, the Cardinals looked better. I mean, their defense still the team is I think they could look better as a whole unit. I don't know what their coaching future is, but I mean, this is a thing that I think people shouldn't have been surprised about. DeAndre Hopkins is a Hall of Fame player. So wouldn't you expect the team to be way better with the best player on the team, a Hall of Famer, coming back and playing? Like, I don't know. I just think there was too much panic. I mean, including me, I didn't think they'd look this good going into the season. I mean, they don't look great, but uh, they have Robbie Anderson. I mean, I just think that they have good offensive pieces. Your backup running backs looked better. They're probably gonna regret the James Conner signing. They're gonna. I don't know if they can get off of it soon, but Benjamin looked good. Maybe I'm overhyping the Cardinals, but I just think that I don't know. I just think this is gonna be an upset. I mean, the Vikings could easily win this too because Justin Jefferson's uncoverable. The Cardinals don't have a really good secondary. But I don't know. I just think the Cardinals are gonna win this. But the Vikings, yeah, this one was hard to predict. I'm not gonna lie. The Vikings have Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins has played well. It's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like what I said. I don't know. Every year, I just think the Vikings always like tease the NFL fan base, and then like they come back to reality at the end. If they're not playing the Packers, then it's yeah. But yeah, Cardinals at Vikings 24-20. Next game, Raiders at Saints. This is like the last of the noon games. I have the Raiders 28, Saints 20. I think the Raiders offense got back on track a little. I mean, they were playing the Texans, but they look good against the Chiefs. They need O-line help badly, and that whole defense. I mean, they're gonna be losing. I think this is the cleanse of like the old Gruden regime because they're trying to trade Jonathan Abram. Cleveland Farrell has been like one of the worst picks in like the last decade. I'm sorry, but yeah, that was just terrible. They're trying to get rid of those guys. I think this is going to be like the all right. This is the Josh McDaniels era. Let's get all our guys in. Their offense is still good. Josh Jacobs, they probably should have picked up his 5th year. I mean, I get that running back. I feel like running backs always play well on contract years. So that's why I'd be wary of the Giants and the Raiders paying Saquon and Jacobs respectively. But Jacobs looks like one of the best running backs right now. Adams, I don't know if he's going to get suspended, but he's a beast receiver. He's like a top 2 receiver. Renfro is good. They needed to get him more involved. Darren Waller, I don't know. There's been injury things with him, but whenever he does play, he's good. They might trade him to be honest, but yeah, Raiders offense is really good. I think it's still probably top half of the league at the very lowest. I think they're. I mean, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs at this point, but yeah, I still think they're going to beat the Saints. I think that the Saints. It's sad to say, but I finally think that this is blow it up year because I looked at their cap space for next season. It's bad. They're like 50 million over the cap. I mean, it honestly sucks because for like the past half decade, they've been constantly pushing cap back and back and back. And because I mean, you got to give credit to the Saints org. They want to win every year. Like they are manipulating. They're like fiends with the cap. They're like obsessed with manipulating the cap. But I mean, it catches up to everybody. You got to pay the piper at some point, and like the vets at the team's getting older. They're still good, but Cameron Jordan's getting up there in age. Marshawn Lattimore's a vet. Michael Thomas keeps getting injured. I'd look to see if you could trade him for some assets at this point. Like Chris Olave's look good. Your quarterback situation's in limbo. Honestly, I think that next year the Saints are probably going to be the worst team in the NFL. It's going to be, yeah, I honestly think so. Good quarterback class next year with like Caleb Williams and Quinn Ewers, I think. I just think that the Saints team next year is going to be looking. I mean, they're always competitive, but next year, I think that, or even this season, I think they should consider trading Michael Thomas. I mean, look, tell a team that like, hey, we'll keep half of his cap if you give us like a second or a third. That's probably rich, but yeah, maybe look to see if you can offload Marshawn Lattimore, Cameron Jordan, because the team is like decent, but this team has just been stuck in this like constantly disappointing, not making the playoffs, underachieving, and their cap situation is bad. I just look to see if you could get like fix the cap situation by trading a bunch of assets, get the picks. You have some young pieces in place, and then Yeah, dealing it with that way. Like maybe Saints don't want to hear that. And then, but I mean, that's just my opinion. I think that this team, unless look, if this team can somehow get a legit quarterback, like a franchise quarterback, either finding him through the draft somehow or trading for him, then I think they'll probably be decent. But I don't know. I think that this team is just it's time to blow it up. And then another thing, I don't know even know if Alvin Kamara is like going to be on the team next year or he's going to play because that video, like I think the NFL is going to investigate that Vegas thing. From what I saw, like that looked like a fat suspension to me. That looked fat. I'm just not gonna lie. Like I would be kind of surprised if he doesn't get suspended a hefty amount for that. And then I mean, I don't know if you could get off of him because of that, but like I said, I just think the team needs to blow it up. So yeah, Raiders 28, Saints 20. Man, I'm making this video long. And for the afternoon games, Titans at Texans. I have the Titans 24, Texans 21. I got to give this Titans team credit, man. I know the division's bad, but this team will just not die. Like I've said for like the past maybe months that I thought that this team was just. I mean, at a certain point, they were gonna have to say, "Man, we got to blow it up." Even though they're the first seed last season, but I mean, man, how are they 24 and 21? I mean, I don't get it. I don't watch the Titans games because I'm never on prime time. I don't have NFL pass at my apartment. But man, I 4-2 is just impressive. Like Derrick Henry, like he always is an MVP candidate, even if he isn't putting up stats, because man, they use that guy like crazy. I mean, he really is like the engine to that team. Defense, I think, is pretty good, or at least the front is. Um, I have them 24 over the Texans 21. The Texans, they're bad, but it's a young team. I mean, Davis Mills is probably not the answer. So yeah, I think they probably need to look at getting a quarterback in the next draft class. Some of the rookies have been impressive. Like I think Derek Stingley and Jalen Petrie have been they've been good for rookies. And then Damian Pierce, like I said, I don't know why that guy went in the fourth. He's a beast. So you got your running back of the future. John Mechie should come back at a certain point. Um David, I think this team is good enough to put up 21, but like I said, they're not good. Titans for some reason are good. That team's surprising me. Credit to Vrabel for that. So I have the Titans, yeah, the Titans winning. Giants at Seahawks. I finally have the Giants winning, or I have the Seahawks or the Giants losing. Maybe that's just a hater pick, but man, I don't know how this Giants team is 6-1. I really don't. Like Brian Dable is such a good coach. He's probably coach of the year. They just like it's crazy how much he maximizes talent. I mean, we should have seen this with the Josh Allen, him how he developed them. But Daniel Jones looks legit. I mean, he's not like slinging it, but they're using him. You're using his legs, which are his best asset. He's making throws when he needs to. Saquon Barkley is an MVP candidate this year, and they're playing good defense. I mean, that's winning football. Like you saw in the Cowboys game, if an offense can get going, they're going to struggle. But like I don't think that this team's like a playoff or a Super Bowl contender. I think it's like a wild card or a divisional exit. And I want to be surprised if they start losing some games. But they have a really good, bright future as the Giants because I mean, once you get off Kenny Galladay's contract, they'll probably bring back Daniel Jones on like a 1-year extension or new contract. They might pay Saquon. It depends on how much Saquon. I'd be cautious because this happens a lot where running backs ball out in contract years, then they decline. I'd be careful with that, but I'd still pay him at this point if it's like a good deal. Yeah, Giants have a bright future. Good defense, good running game. That's winning football right there. But the Seahawks, I haven't watched the games, but I've heard that the defense like drastically improved over the past week or so. Geno Smith straight up looks better than Russell. That's got to sting. Yeah, Geno Smith has looked legit. Like I wouldn't give him like a fat like 4-year 120 million contract just yet, but yeah, I mean, it's got to stink if you're Russell Wilson because they've drafted like I don't maybe not in the last draft, but this draft, I mean, they killed it. I mean, they got their tackles, I think supplanted for the future, whatever the word is. They got them fixed for the future because both the rookie tackles look good. Kenneth Walker, I mean, they lost Penny. He might not be back, but Kenneth Walker showed off that college speed because man, he destroyed that Chargers run game. That's not really that much of a compliment because the Chargers running defense is trash. But yeah, Kenneth Walker looked good. Their receiving core is good with DK and Tyler. I mean, I heard that there. I mean, people were considering them for trades. I wouldn't trade them. They look good. Yeah. I mean, they just drafted really well. I just think that the culture with Gino, it looks good. So I've been winning 24 at 17. Um, yeah, that's crazy. That's like the coach of the year battle right there for me. Next game, Commanders at Colts. Two teams that are blowing up their quarterback room. Funny how they both had Carson. It sucks that Carson's not playing, but um the Commanders winning 21 to the Colts 20. Could go either way because Jonathan Taylor is coming back, but this Colts O line is just not the same. Like I love Jonathan Taylor, but you saw at the end of last season, he was on my fantasy team. He didn't do anything in the fantasy playoffs because the O line was bad. I mean, you got to fix the O line. I think both teams need to fix the O line. Colts are starting Sam Ellinger, which is exciting, but I don't know. I just want to like get hyped up yet. Like you found your quarterback. Yeah, I think that both teams will be taking a quarterback in the next draft. So I have the Commanders winning though, because I just think that this team loves playing with Taylor Heineke. The Washington interior D line is good, so they could stop the run more effectively. Yeah, and like I said, the Commanders receiving room is good. Like they I think that they're honestly set. Like they could use a big body player. I'll probably do that in the draft. Like if they're picking like in the 20s, like I think Quentin Johnston or like Johnny Wilson even or like a good tight end that could stretch the field would make their offense like really good or like make it towards elite. But the Colts receiving room is better than I thought too. Both teams still need like receive some sort of receiver, different types, but yeah, the Commanders 21, Colts 20. Both teams are not going to make the playoffs probably, but I think it'll be a close game. 49ers at Rams. I could see this going either way, but 49ers 28, Rams 21. Maybe that's too high scoring, but um this 49ers offense is still really good, but they got destroyed by the Chiefs. Like I know they're missing a lot of good defensive players. They got to fix that injury situation in 49er land. Like I don't know if it's just bad luck or like I don't want to make any point any fingers, but they're always getting injured. Like every year there's significant injuries and you just got to wonder like what are they doing up there with like conditioning and stuff. I mean, after a certain point you got to wonder what's going on. But they got Christian McCaffrey. You probably did give up a little too much, but he's still a good player, and I don't think his contract situation is terrible. Don't like the quarterback situation, like I've said before. Uh, Once they get all their players back, I think they could get hot like last year and go on a tear. But yeah, the offense is good. They're finally getting George Kittle involved. Hallelujah. From the Rams' perspective, it just doesn't look the same. I mean, they've lost a lot of good players on defense. Von Miller, they needed back. They shouldn't have let him go. They allocated the money to other spots that haven't paid off, like Allen Robinson, and then Bobby Wagner's good, but I mean, he ain't Von Miller good. Cooper Kupp's a stud. I mean, I don't know. The Rams could just get better. They might make a trade. They need to bring back Odell. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Odell wants like a multi-year contract. Maybe that's why teams are like apprehensive. But I mean, if he's offering like a 1-year deal, man, like they don't have any receivers anyway. Once they get Van Jefferson back, and then maybe Odell, they'll look good. But yeah, they need help. Like I think that the Rams team, that what everybody said or all the haters said is kind of coming to fruition, that you gave up all the picks and that's fine because you won a Super Bowl. Like you won a Super Bowl. that's a rare achievement. But you lose, like, the picks run dry. Yeah, and you lose all the talent and you can't restock them with, the picks. So 49ers 28, Rams 21. Maybe could go either way. Uh Sunday night game, which before the season people probably thought was gonna be better, but Packers at Bills. I could maybe see the Packers just pulling off an upset, but this Bills team is just so good. It's honestly insane. I mean, yeah, I have the Bills winning 31 and the Packers 21. Like, this Packers defense is underachieving. I'm about to go on like a tirade with this Packers team. The Bills, they arguably have like the best receiving tandem right now because Stephon Diggs is a beast. They got him locked up on a good contract. Josh Allen looks like a top MVP, basically, like a top quarterback in the league. Gabe Davis is a great compliment. I will say that the second, well, they did lose Micah Hyde, which is bad. But they'll get Trey White back. But the running game, to me, like, next draft, they need to get like a hammer running back, and they need to fix the O line or retool it because they could improve it running the game, running the ball. But no one's shown that they can stop the passing attack. The Packers defense, like I said, has looked bad. This Packers offense is not good. And then, I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers throwing the receivers under the bus. I mean, it's true. Like, they don't look good, but I mean, you just got to wonder, what is this Packers offense doing? Because this is the thing. Look, I do think that Aaron Rodgers sometimes is a little too blunt. Like, you shouldn't be coming out public and trashing rookie receivers because, I mean, they're second round picks, they're not first round picks. But this is the thing that makes me crazy. Okay, with the 22nd pick, I'm pretty sure that they drafted Quay Walker. Okay, he, based off PFF, I have not watched the game. He has not been good. And I haven't heard his name making plays either. So clearly he hasn't made like a significant impact. Okay. Not only should you have traded up or gotten to pick a weapon with that pick, like an O lineman like Tyler Smith or something, Devin Lloyd was picked later. Everyone said he was a better prospect, and he's been better. I mean, that's the thing that's just crazy. Like, you take Quay Walker, who was like my linebacker 3, maybe, because I thought Nakobe Dean was better too. So not only did you not take an offensive player, a skill position player, you took a linebacker who wasn't even like the best in the class. He hasn't been good. Devontae Wyatt, I think, has been okay, but once again, what are you doing, man? You had Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary. I know the D line needed some help, but like, this defense is, you invested 2 first round picks in this defensive line, and the defense has still been bad. I just don't get it. I mean, if I'm a Packers fan, man, like, I don't even know I'm getting heated because I don't like the Packers. But I mean, man, it's hard to root for this team. I mean, they got dedicated fans, but I mean, it's like, dang, man, it's just like they hate Aaron Rodgers. I'm convinced that Matt LaFleur is doing this out of spite because maybe he doesn't do the picks, but it's like, you had 2 first round picks. You traded the best receiver in the NFL. Okay. And with those picks, you didn't trade up in a draft that had Chris Olave, who's looked like a stud. Someone traded up for him, and I don't think they had to give up that much. The Lions traded up with the Vikings from the like 32nd pick all the way to the first or the 10th or 11th or whatever, and they didn't even have to give up a first round pick. Now, maybe the Packers, if the Packers had called, the Vikings would have been like, we're not trade. We'll trade with the Lions, but we're not going to trade with the Packers. But it's just crazy. Like, this team just neglects receivers, and it's just, you gotta wonder. Like, I still think that they'll improve, but man, I'm sorry. It's just, this Packers team is so frustrating. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this game's gonna be close. Bills 31, Packers 21. No one can stop this Bills offense, except maybe the Dolphins. But yeah, final game, Bengals at Browns. I have the Bengals winning 24, Broncos 21, or Browns 21. Yeah, I think this is the best well, I did say that the Bills were the best. Maybe I did say they were the best offense, but the Bengals are one of the best offenses, if not the best, because offenses in the NFL because I mean Jamar Chase, number one receiver, he's one of the best. Tyler Boyd, I saw like a CBS mock draft that was interesting, saying that they should cut him, give like his money to T Higgins, and then draft like Kayshon Butte or whatever. But he looked like a stud the last game against the Falcons. T Higgins, I mean, he's still good. He got concussed. So I think that kind of derailed the season up to this point. Yeah, I mean, this Bengals offense is just so good. Like they are the best receiver room in the NFL. And I don't know if it's actually close. Yeah, I don't know why people were panicking. I still think that they're Super Bowl contenders. Their defense is still good. They need to fix the O-line still, but yeah, this Browns team, I think they're 1 year away from contending because this defense has been underachieving, in my opinion. I always joke around that the Browns like don't have a cap because it always feels like every year they like pay like players 10 million, like Jadeveon Clowney, and then they pay like Denzel Ward 20 mil and Myles Garrett 20 mil, and they're paying Amari Cooper's contract. And I'm just like, dang, man, they are paying so many players. So credit to whoever their cap dude is or cap woman. Cap management is good with the Browns, but their defense is underachieved. The passing game will get better. I mean, Amari's good and Njoku's good. The running game is probably the best in the NFL. Good O line, but quarterback is iffy. Like I said, this team's 1 year away. They gotta hope that Deshaun comes back and doesn't look like Russell Wilson. Yeah, they need to if they get more receivers and they fix or add to the defense, they'll be Super Bowl contenders for me next year. Yeah, but I have the Bengals winning because I think they're better. I think their defense is still good. Their defense was underrated last season. Like at the end of the season, they were winning, I think more so because I think their defense was getting like crazy stops, like in that AFC Championship game. They shut the Chiefs down in the second half. So yeah, I have the Bengals winning 24, Browns 21. Yeah, that's it. I need to get a mock draft up at this point. I'm looking at prospects. It's just I don't know. I think it'll be a good draft, but it's gonna be hard to draft. I don't know. There's just a lot of prospects that I don't know like are really solidified. Like Jackson Smith and Jigba keeps getting injured, but I'm excited for it. The trade deadline's coming up November 1st. I maybe will make a video. I don't think it's going to be that exciting because the team that was clearly getting like the most buzz or talked about the most was the Panthers. And after this win against the Bucks, like I think that they've silenced the notion that they're going to trade young pieces. Like I saw someone say that they like I don't know if this was confirmed, but like 2 first rounds for somebody. Maybe it was like Brian Burns, which is crazy. Like let's chill down a bit with that. But yeah, the Panthers don't really have any reason to get rid of like their young assets. Like all the players that are talked about, like Brian Burns, J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, DJ Moore. There's like no, you don't have to trade them. Like if you get a good haul, I'd trade them. But yeah, it's a young team. Maybe the situation is not as bad. The team looked like they had life, but yeah. Eagles traded for Robert Quinn, which I think was a good trade. I don't know if it's like a game-changing trade. Honestly, like if I'm the Eagles, man, I would have maybe traded for like Bradley Chubb. If the Eagles traded for Bradley Chubb, then I would have been like, okay, yeah, that is a Super Bowl favorite right there. I mean, they still could, I think. I mean, if they're willing to give up a first because they have an extra first, I'd maybe make that trade. Like give up like yours, which is probably going to be like a 28th overall pick. Which for Bradley Chubb on a rental, I don't think is that bad. Maybe you could do like your first and then like Bradley Chubb in like a third or a fourth to like, because it's a 1 year rental and you're gonna have to pay them. Yeah, but outside of that, I don't really think there's gonna be a lot of trades to be honest. Because there's so many teams that think they can contend, like the Giants, like if they trade Kenny Galladay, they're not gonna turn around and be like, oh well, we're gonna keep a bunch of his cap because that's a win now team right now. So yeah. Don't think it's going to be that exciting. I need to be more consistent with these. I need to get more content up. But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting week. Halloween games and stuff. Have a good Halloween. Be safe and see y'all next time.